Welcome to the channel Crypto with Guru. This morning when I got up at this farm where I was spending my weekend, I saw strange light coming out of the window, and as I looked out, I thought it would be the sun which is shining brighter, but it was Bitcoin, the most popular cryptocurrency, which was on fire. Yes, my friends, Bitcoin has been on fire since the beginning of the year, and recently it has only gone hotter. In fact, Bitcoin touched $29,200 this week, though only briefly, but it has shown to us where it is headed. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Commodore Gurpreet Dhillon. Today we are going to talk about the imminent death of US dollar and the rise of Bitcoin. And we will talk about what action do we need to take investors now. Friends, in the last video we saw how the US banking system was on the verge of a collapse, with the US central bank pledging to inject over $2 trillion as bailout package. The Fed surely does not have the money. Therefore, this $2 trillion is going to be generated through printing dollars at an unprecedented scale, which will result into inflation hitting the moon and may even result into hyperinflation. Apart from the grim international economic indicators, there is a global monetary reset on the way. We are witnessing de-dollarization at a massive scale. I'll quickly share with you 3 pointers which point towards only one thing: the death of US dollar is imminent. Pointer number 1. Nations which are part of BRICS, which stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, have openly declared that they will work jointly to counter the US increasingly reckless abuse of its US dollar hegemony. They have agreed to trade with each other in the currencies of local countries. This trade in non-dollar currencies has been happening for a few years now, slowly edging out the dollar. What is interesting is that a dozen more countries have applied to be part of the BRICS and are expected to follow in the wake. Pointer number 2. It is perhaps of common knowledge that despite the sanctions on Russia after it invaded Ukraine, Russia has been openly trading with China in Chinese yuan and with India in rupee. In fact, India has bought 38% of its oil from Russia since the war, as against averages of only 2% in the previous years. But what is interesting is that Japan, a close ally of US, has also recently started buying oil from Russia, leaving US red-faced. Pointer number 3. We are all aware that Saudi Arabia has been under US protection since the World War II. In return, Saudi Arabia accepted petrodollar as de facto payment mode for global trade in oil. Petrodollar was also accepted by the OPEC. However, the latest shocker for US is that Saudi Arabia has recently signed a joint military cooperation with Russia. Of course, trade in oil will only follow. If this happens, it will be the first time Saudi Arabia would have traded in a non-petrodollar currency. This would be the tipping point, and even if a few other OPEC countries were to follow, it will lead to the death of US petrodollar. As a consequence, world will start dumping US dollar reserves and global de-dollarization is expected to happen. US will not just lose its economic dominance but also superpower status. Friends, looking at the banking sector collapse in US and the current global financial turmoil, the death of US dollar appears to be imminent. Experts predict that this could happen sooner rather than later, in a matter of months or even weeks. My take on this is, as investors, we need to take advantage of this once in a lifetime opportunity and not be found on the sidelines. My advice therefore to you is to pick up at least some portion of Bitcoin, and even if it is just a tenth of Bitcoin at current levels, and hodl it. By hodl I mean hold on to dear life. It would be like having your finger in the proverbial Bitcoin pie. in a few weeks or months, when large financial institutions like BlackRock, Fidelity start gobbling up the available scarce supply of Bitcoin, Bitcoin may become out of reach of retail investors like you and me. But remember, investing in cryptocurrency comes with a risk. So be sure to do your research and invest wisely. But certainly explore this possibility of investment in Bitcoin and don't miss the opportunity. Act now before it is too late. Friends, if you are in agreement with the fact that US dollar is headed for some tough times, please write agree in the comment box, else write disagree. And if you want to keep abreast with the latest in blockchain and crypto technology world, kindly press the notification icon and subscribe to this channel. Thank you. Have a nice day.